Is going to be a very quick introduction to SketchUp. Now this is the Pro 2018. I use the Pro because I want to, for architecture, I bring in DWG files from Illustrator and I convert it from there. That's the reason why I use Pro. If you don't need to do that, then you can just use the standard. So first of all, I open this up. Now this here is an education version of SketchUp. Okay, and we are in Victoria, Australia. So first of all, what I do is I go to choose template, and because we're in Australia, we use architectural design in millimeters. So I'm going to click on that and click on Start SketchUp. All right, so here we go. We have SketchUp. So for those who have used any 3D modeling program before, you'll pretty much, you'll pick it up pretty quickly. Say hello to Stacy. Stacy is the 2018 character in SketchUp. So Stacy is here to show you proportion of objects and things, okay? All right, so some ways to get around SketchUp. So I'm using an Apple IntelliMouse, and I don't have the third button, the middle button of a mouse. I've got another mouse for 3D modeling. So I'm going to be showing you how to use it with a 2-button mouse. Okay, and I'll tell you what the differences are between them as we get into it. So first few things, just like in Illustrator, I'm assuming you know Illustrator or Photoshop for this. Illustrator is better used, okay? So this here is the selection tool. This tool here is the eraser tool for erasing a line of an object, like a vertice, for example. This one is the line tool, and you can do a few different things. You can do freehand squiggles as well. I tend not to use the squiggles that much. This one is creating arcs, right, of various types. This one is the shape tool, just like in Illustrator. It's a shape tool. Now shortcut keys are different, so don't press M and get in and think that you're into that tool. This one is the push-pull tool, and I'll show you this shortly. This one is the tool that you can, it's very similar to in Illustrator when you go to Object, Path, Offset Path. It's the same thing, but it's 3-dimensional. This one is the Move tool, right? So you need to select something first, then you need to go to the Move tool. That's one of the annoying things of SketchUp. This one here is the Rotate tool. This one's a bit finicky, and I'll show you how to use that. This one is the Scale tool, works completely differently than in Photoshop or Illustrator. It's 3-dimensional scale. This one is the Measurement tool, Tape Measure tool, and you can set up guides with this. This one is the Type tool, okay. This one is obviously the Paint Bucket. Works differently to what you expect in Illustrator or Photoshop. It works more like Illustrator. This one is the Orbit tool. When I click on Orbit, I can orbit around the scene. Okay, pretty cool. All right. This one is the Hand tool. I can pan across, up and down. Okay, so together with the Orbit and the Hand tool, you can go anywhere in the SketchUp. The Magnifying tool to zoom. This one is to zoom extents. So if I'm confused where I'm at, I can click on Zoom Extents and I can see the item that I've got currently selected. Okay. This one is the warehouse, 3D warehouse. Please do not use anything from the 3D warehouse. If you do, then it's an N, because you are grabbing someone else's work. So if you magically come up with this fantastic looking house or some other architectural design, landscape architectural design or what have you, and it's this immaculate, perfect thing, I'm going to be asking you questions on how you did it. Okay, I can tell. For landscape architecture, I accept you you can get trees, for example. That's fine, okay? Trees are fine, accepted, all right? But for furniture, if it's just an architectural thing, you could probably put some of that furniture in, but please don't put in, don't grab ready-made houses. Please do not. Right? I've actually failed people in the past for it. This one here is the extension warehouse. Don't worry about extensions because they're not allowed in the education version. It's blocked anyways on the education version. And this one here is the center layout. Don't worry about layout just yet. You are learning how to use SketchUp first. And this one here is extension manager. You can remove things and disable things. Okay, so cool. So we're introduced to SketchUp. Now, if you scroll up and scroll down on the mouse, you can zoom in and zoom out. Cool. And everything in SketchUp is drawn at 1:1 scale. Okay. So let's say this, right? So I'll go to my shape tool here and I click, take my finger off the mouse and I move my mouse across. And you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner, I've got dimensions. Pretty cool. So you can draw your box like that if you like, right? Or you can do this. You can click, drag up, right? And then you can type in 6,000, 1,000. Now I did not click into that distance, the dimensions box. I just started typing and I press return or enter on the PC. And there I've got my 6 meters by 1 meter block. Cool? All right. Now let's say I want to delete this. So I'm going to go to the selection tool and I can click on this whole thing, triple click on it fast and press delete. Triple click fast, delete. Whoops, I didn't do. Triple click, delete. Cool. You can also do this. And then you can go to the selection tool, you can select like that, delete. Cool. You've got layers as well in here, layers panel, and layers are 3-dimensional layers. So you can have multiple layers intertwined with themselves. It's not like in Photoshop or Illustrator. It's a 3-dimensional layer. So you can turn a roof on and off. You can turn rooms on and off. Yeah? All right, so won't worry about your layers just yet. That's for the other videos that I've got. Okay, so let's say I want to draw something to proportion. So I'm going to click on here. So I'm going to draw a basic structure now. Click on this, and I'm going to click on here, and then I'm going to type in the dimensions of, let's say, 6,000 by 3,000. Okay, so this is like a typical sort of living space, really. Okay, and I'm going to press return. So it's this. Cool. Now this is a basic structure. Okay, basic structure, this one. So let's imagine that this house or structure is some type of, needs a slab. Okay, so I'm going to go to this tool over here called push-pull tool. So it's this one over here. And I'm going to go over to this item here and see when I hover over this shape that it goes to a different shade. I'm going to click, keep my finger down, and then push away from my body. So I'm pushing away from my body, right? My physical body, I'm pushing away from my body, okay? And I can push all the way up whatever size I want. Don't click anything else because I can type in here 100 now in the distance and press return, and that's an exact measurement of a typical industrial slab, okay? All right, if you're doing a float slab, it'll look different, right? Because a float slab, not a float slab, a common house slab actually has bevel, like little like rebates in it to stop the floating slab from shifting around the block. Okay, but this is a basic one, all right? So here we go, we've got that done. So it's our slab. Cool. So what you can do now is you can go over to the select tool, and then you can triple click, 1, 2, 3, triple click on it. Okay. You right click to bring the context menu up. So for those who are on a Mac, you can press Control and then click if you wish, right? If you don't have a real mouse, right? Or if you're keyboard wiring it. Keyboard wiring this on with SketchUp or any 3D program is you're going to be a contortionist. So you need to use a mouse, sorry. Okay, it's one of those must things. So I'm going to make this a group. The reason why I'm making this a group, and you'll see now the reason why, I'm going to show you an example. I'm just going to draw a basic shape here. And I'm going to push-pull this up. Okay? Now, let's see this. I'm going to add another shape to this object. Right? Yeah? So I have not grouped this. And I'm going to push-pull this shape up. There's a problem with this. It's because this shape has now been this shape here has now been affected by this shape. So if I don't want anything affected by another shape, I need to make it into a group, and that's what I've done there. The slab, it's its own group, and therefore it cannot be modified unless I double-click into it. Okay? So just like in Illustrator, if you group something, you cannot modify it if it's in a group. You need to double-click into the group to get into it. Yeah? All right. Okay, so if you don't know how to use Illustrator, please use Illustrator before using SketchUp. I'm just going to orbit around a little bit. I'm going to zoom in. So I can just see this as a bit more of a planimetric sort of thing. Okay. Cool. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do put up walls. Now this is a very basic shape, I know. So I'm going to go with the shape tool. I'm going to click on this edge here. And you see how it snaps to? It snaps to that point. It's pretty smart. And I'm going to draw over top of it. Right? Click on it. On the other side. Why have I done this? Aha, you'll see now. Okay. Now remember, I have not affected the concrete slab. I'm now going to select the edges. Okay. So I'm going to select that thing that I just drew, triple clicked on it. And I'm going to go to this tool over here called Offset. Check this one out. Click on it. I'm going to click on this edge here. I'm going to move my mouse in from it. And I'm going to type in here 300. Now what I've done is I've actually drawn in an external wall. Yeah, according to VCAR specification, this is not a real world thing. What I can do now is I can now delete this inner bit, right? And I'm left with just the walls. Pretty cool. I can now go to push-pull tool, and you can now rewind this and stuff, yeah? Use push-pull tool, hover over the wall, move my wall up. My typical wall height is, it's a common one for these days, not minimum height, which is 2.4 meters high. I'm going to go 2.7, so 2,700 millimeters. And that is my wall. Cool? Pretty cool. All right. Now, we need to have, what's that? Someone just said, I want an external wall, as an external door. Excellent. Someone said I want an external door. So I'm going to go over here to the wall. I'm going to go over to this wall, this shape here. And because my wall has not been grouped yet, I can cut into it now. All right, so I can draw a shape. So I'm going to go over to about here, making sure that I'm not pushing into, I'm not going to draw before the 300. Right, let's go into about here. And I'm going to roughly draw my door. Now my door dimensions, right? My door dimensions are 830, 2000. Press return, and that is my door. That's a real world door. I now need to make this as a cut. Okay, check this out. I go over to the push-pull tool, and I hover over the door, and I push-pull away from my body. But I need to move my mouse up to here, and you see here how it's snapping to that edge. Bye-bye. Pretty cool? Yeah? All right, another one is I want to do a window, put a window in. Right, so let's move more in here so I can see a little bit better. Right, nice and big. So I want the window to be nice, decent size, and proper to what it would be according to this code, okay? I'm going to use the tape measure tool to make a guide. I'm going to click on this corner here, and you see this how it's red? how it snaps to as a red, that means that it's a horizontal line on that surface. On that surface that it's on. Okay? If I want to do a guide up, it needs to turn blue. Okay? Cool? Alright, so we now have the height of the door jamb. Okay, now I need the base of my window. So I'm going to go down to my slab, click once, come up here, and in the length at the bottom right hand corner, now I don't need to click on the length of the bottom right hand corner, especially on Mac, it doesn't allow you to do it. On PC it does, which is weird. And I'm going to type in here 900, because a standard height of a desk is 900, yeah? Computer desk is 900, yeah? So now I've got my top of the door window and the base of my window. I'm going to click over to my, go over to my shape tool. I'm going to click about here somewhere, move my window across, making sure that the window is green in color. Okay. When it goes over to this shape like this and it has a line going through it, that is an aspect ratio of 2 to 3. Yeah? So for those who would know photography or know about proportion of things, it is the golden mean. It is the rule of thirds, the 2 to 3 ratio. Okay? So I'm going to do that, or can specify dimensions in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to click on that. Click, done. Now to put the window in, I'm going to go to the push-pull tool, click, drag out away from my body, and making sure that I move my cursor over so that it's up against the back edge. And that is my window. Whoops, Command Z. I'm used to using 3-button mouse, sorry. So that is my window space in there. That is my structure. Pretty cool? What happens now, you say? I want to put a roof on it. So now I need to make sure that I can not modify this wall. So I'm going to triple click. Might have to do it like 4 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right click, make group. Let's put a basic roof in. I'm not going to do a gable roof, we're just going to do a basic pitch, okay? So we go over here to the shape tool, click on the corner, click on the other corner. Needs to be blue. Hang on, doesn't look right yet. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to push-pull this up by 100 millimeters. 100 millimeters can be represented as being a gutter. Okay? Now for those who are adding a floor on, a standard floor between 2 floors, standard space from that for all the beams and everything is 300 millimeters. Okay? But I'm just going to do 100 because I'm just representing the gutter. Okay? Right, so now I need to put a roof pitch on. Check this out. I'm going to go over to the pen tool. And I'm going to hover over this line in the back. And you watch as I hover over, it's red, 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 and blue. That is the midpoint. I'm going to click on the midpoint, drag across. You see that it's locking in as a red because it's paraline. Yes. And click on the other side on the midpoint. Pretty cool. Now, check this out. I'm going to go to the selection tool. Selection tool over here. I'm going to click on just that line, just on the line. I'm going to go to the move tool now. And I'm going to go over here till it turns green, push up. Now you need to see that as I'm pushing up, it needs to lock in. Can you see how it's locking in as a blue dotted line? All right, push up, and I'm going to type in here 1,200. Cool, whoops. Pretty cool? Yeah. Yep. So you can add chimneys and things like that to it and do all kinds of really cool stuff. Okay, and that is your basics of a house. I've got other videos on how to do that. Okay, cool. Right, so please subscribe and please click on the bell icon so you can find out if there's any new videos as we go along. All right, thank you. Have a good day, designers. Bye.